Asteroid City, the latest from Wes Anderson, who is one of my favorite directors. Now, Wes Anderson...
Really fucking hated this goddamn movie.
I knew you would. I knew you were going to hate it.
So boring, bro.
Wes Anderson is interesting because either you love his movies or you hate his movies. There's no in between with Wes Anderson.
I'm an honest man. I hated it.
It's fair. No, that's fair. I knew you were going to not like it. I knew when we picked it 2 weeks ago you weren't going to like it.
Asteroid City does not exist. It is an imaginary drama created expressly for this broadcast.
Wes Anderson has a very particular and a very unique visual style. So this is nothing different from him. You either hate it or you love it.
The movie was aesthetically pleasing for sure, but the dialogue I didn't like. I didn't finish it. I'm gonna be honest.
That's fair. I didn't finish whatever the bullshit was we watched last week.
Movie bored me to tears.
So Asteroid City, written and directed by Wes Anderson. Every fucking actor on earth is in this movie apparently.
It's Oscar bait, and I fucking hate those.
This is not
movies for one.
This isn't
Oscar bait.
No. Oscar bait is very different than that. Oscar bait is a movie with millions of actors that anybody could sit down and enjoy. This is a movie for Wes Anderson fans. That's what this is. And all these actors, most of them have been in Wes Anderson movies before, namely Jason Schwartzman, Adrian Brody. This has Scarlett Johansson in it, Tom Hanks, Jeffrey Wright, Bryan Cranston, Ed Norton, who's been in a lot of Wes Anderson movies. We've got Maya Hawke from fucking Stranger Things in this. Rupert Friend, Liev Schreiber, like Sophia Lillis from fucking It. Like, the cast is just never ending. I'm not even going to go through all of them. This movie, it's interesting in that it tells 3 stories. The movie opens with Bryan Cranston, who plays a sort of 1950s-esque TV host, and he's introducing the audience to a live televised production of a play called Asteroid City. So that's like story number 1. Story number 2 is the actual play itself. The bulk of the movie is us watching this play called Asteroid City, and then the third story is the behind the scenes watching how the play got made. In the play, basically a writer played by Jason Schwartzman named Augie Steinbeck, and he takes his son Woodrow and his 3 daughters to this town called Asteroid City, where there's like this young stargazers award going on, and his son's like a young genius, and it's him and a bunch of other little geniuses.
The witch, the fairy, and the
vampire.
The vampire, that's right.
Yeah. Right. That was a good intro.
So how far did you make it in this, Marvin?
I'm not actually sure. I read the synopsis, and it was before the alien stuff. I just...
Okay.
It was super... Those first, 20, 30 minutes, it felt like an hour. And it was just really boring to me, so I just turned it off.
That's fair. Hey, sometimes you just got to turn shit off. I didn't want to spend my
Sunday watching this, so I decided against it.
That's fair.
Respect. Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to turn stuff off.
Maybe it's because it was like, I don't know. It just everything felt monotone to me.
That's
dialogue wise.
That's his style.
But it just fucking very boring.
I understand.
It was a little nonsensical at times.
Now, I like every movie he's ever done, so I'm just going to throw that out there. My favorite movie from him is The Royal Tenenbaums. That movie's fucking amazing. This movie, honestly, that got skyrocketed up into my top of Wes Anderson list. Like, how do you describe Wes Anderson to somebody who isn't familiar with his work? All his movies are like this. There's like a whimsical, there's like a whimsical element to it. They're very detached from reality in terms of like, you see the set was like, he makes things kind of look almost like cartoons.
Yeah.
Very vibrant in color. The characters are like very monotone is a good word for it. They're very like statuesque, and they don't emote very much. A lot of what the movie is doing comes from the dialogue of the characters. And in this movie, I think it was one of the more complicated movies in terms of dialogue, because they're talking about like astrophysics and shit, some of which was real and familiar to me, and some of it was just like nonsensical shit he made up for the movie. I thought the performances in this movie were fucking unbelievable. Jason Schwartzman was great. He's always great. I thought he was. Bryan Cranston was fucking crushing it in this movie, even just as a TV show host. Ed Norton was in the movie for like, I don't know, maybe a total of like 10 minutes, but he fucking crushed it in this. But the standout for me, Scarlett Johansson in this movie absolutely fucking crushed it. I don't think she gets enough credit for being as good of an actor as she is.
Yeah, people always shit on her.
I don't know why.
She shows some good emotion when she acts. I thought Margot was good too. I like the monologues in this. So like I can understand how Marvin felt. Like for sure. Some of the dialogue felt a little I don't know, dry or whatever.
It is.
But when they would get in on the actor and just you saw their face and they're doing a monologue and they're just acting for the camera. Yep. It was amazing. I enjoyed that very much.
Well, that's why I tried to describe his work as that. The dialogue and like the delivery of it is always like kind of stiff in a way. That style of shoot like brings focus onto the dialogue itself, kind of.
I don't like that. Like, I feel like if I'm watching something, I need it to be more obvious what the actor is portraying and like acting out. Like,
well, I'm curious.
If I want to read, if I read a book, then I could just read dialogue and I could do the imagination part myself. But if I'm watching something, I don't want to. That's how I feel about it.
Characters themselves are stiff, but the performances and the dialogue isn't. If that makes any sense, I know those are two like contradictory things. I would love for you to actually finish the movie because by the end of it, like there was like a really heartfelt sort of message to the movie. I'd be curious if it actually landed on you. Not that it's like a big mystery of what it was, but you kind of turned it off before like the turning point of the movie. Towards the end of the movie, there are more breaks where you go into black and white world where you're seeing like the actual play get developed. And there's a really beautiful moment. Dusty talked about it for a second. Early in the film, we find out that the character Augie, his wife died and he was keeping it from his kids. His wife, we see a little bit later on, is played by Margot Robbie. Well, it turns out that her one scene that she had was cut from the play. And very, very later in the movie, there's a moment where Jason Schwartzman, the actor version of him, not Augie, runs into her. And she basically runs the scene that she was cut from with him. And it's actually a really beautiful scene, and that's the selling point of the movie, where it actually I get what this movie's about. It's about a lot of things. It's about like young sort of romance and like adventure of being a young kid. It's a coming of age story, but ultimately it's a movie about like loss and how to kind of like navigate that.
That's the Wes Anderson shtick though, like loss, abandonment, sibling rivalry, growing up.
Jones, we see early in the movie when he is auditioning for the writer of the play, who is played by Edward Norton, Conrad Earp. He's the playwright, and there's like a little moment where they kiss. So they have a real life romance. At the very end of the movie, you find out that 6 months into the play running, Edward Norton's character Conrad dies in a car crash. And right as you find that out, Jason Schwartzman's character Jones goes to Adrian Brody, who's the director of the play, and he says, I don't understand what this play is about, and I need to know. And there's like a very interesting conversation between the two, and Jones asks, do I keep doing it? And Schubert, the director, played by Adrian Brody, says yes. And Jones continues, he says, without knowing anything, and Schubert says yes. So Jones,
that's the point.
Yeah, Jones is insisting that he doesn't understand the play and feels like there should be an answer to the meaning of life. And the director Schubert tells him that he should just keep telling the story, even if he doesn't understand it. Now, obviously, that is a stand-in for just life itself.
It's about the journey, not the destination, basically.
Yeah, it says that he feels the heartbreak every night from playing his character Augie. He feels the heartbreak that Augie feels from losing his wife. But then we learn that he feels real heartbreak too, because he lost his lover, which was Edward Norton's character.
Margo? Yeah.
So he lost somebody and his character lost somebody. So he's dealing with this like crushing loss. And then the director tells him like, hey, you know, that's kind of just how it is. And you got to just push on through. And that's, I think, ultimately the message of this movie. The movie was definitely had a lot of like pathos to it. So I think it could definitely be interpreted differently by whoever's watching it.
I'll have to go back and watch it then.
Yeah, well, I'm not forcing you to do it. I appreciate, I respect your opinion. And I knew you were not going to like this movie when we picked it. But I think maybe if you stick it through, you might be like, oh, okay, I kind of get it. One of the other standouts for me in this movie was Steve Carell. I thought he was fucking hilarious in this movie. He plays like the owner of this like land, I guess, and the motel. And the whole movie,
$10 and quarters in, you buy a piece of land.
The whole movie, he was trying to sell the real estate, and I thought that was fucking hilarious. And he opened every line of dialogue with, "Of course, I understand." No matter what the person said to him, he was like, "Of course, I understand."
Yeah, he's like, "Where are they?" "Oh, hello, Mr. Augie. Yes, of course, I understand. Yes, they checked out. Everybody's gone." It's
so fucking funny. That was towards the end. Augie's like, where did everybody go? He's like, of course, I understand. Everybody's checked out. Yes, every one of them.
They lifted the quarantine and everybody's gone.
So that's why I really...
What kind of juice would you like? Would you like carrot, apple, orange, pear?
And there was another really funny scene too, which is supposed to be a sad scene because it's early in the movie where Jason Schwartzman tells his kids that their mother died 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he's like, you guys have no concept of time. And then the daughter's like, 15 minutes is 6,200 hours. And he's like, it's not your fault. Like, there was just a lot of like really funny moments like that. And
I did see that.
And that's something that Wes Anderson does really well. Like, he always is able to tell these really like sad stories, but with like an air of comedy to it to sort of like
Tom Hanks
take the edge off a little bit.
Negotiate with his granddaughters about his
burial,
daughter's ashes while he's walking around in a quarantine zone strapped with a fucking revolver.
Yeah. But I really love this movie. I thought it was, ultimately by the end of it, I was really touched by it. For all the character stories, really, like not just Jason Schwartzman's character.
I love this movie. It was really good. I thought the story was good. Yeah. Again, the monologues were where I really got into it. I thought it was a bit slow at times, but it's a dry, droll comedy. So that's the way these go. But
so I like the aesthetics I like the visuals for sure of the movie. Well, of the play.
The play part of it, yeah.
The play part.
Very vibrant.
I like the colors.
Very vibrant. You didn't think it was funny, like in the beginning when they're at the gas station and like the fucking shootout just keeps driving by between the cops?
That shit was funny. Him fixing the car was funny. He was like trying to explain to him like, hopefully it's not this.
One
and
or
then
two
it's this fucking
situations.
thing. It's like something we've never seen before.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun. So I should go back and watch it. I think maybe I'll just have to watch it in the morning.
Maybe you were just in a weird mood.
That's my key. Just got to watch it in the morning.
When you're nice and awake.
When I'm super awake and focused, yeah.
Just keep telling the story. You're doing them right.
So anyway, 6.7 though. Majority of people seem to enjoy it. I fucking enjoyed it. I would give it a 7.5. How about you, Dusty?
Same.
Okay.
I give it the bump.
Marvin, I won't ask you to rate it because you didn't finish it, but
right.
Based on what you watched, what would you give it?
Oh, 5.
It's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I didn't watch enough.
Is it possible maybe you were not in the right headspace to watch this movie?
Maybe. It was Sunday night,
Like maybe you just weren't prepared for it,
Maybe, yeah.
Felt like work instead of just an experience.
Yes, for sure.
Sometimes movies feel like work.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, there's plenty of them.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'll never not watch one. I'll watch it to the end and say it's shit.
Well, that's why I use the term headspace, because I can probably sit and finish Beau is Afraid, but I have to be in the right frame of mind to do it and to like kind of focus on it. That day I was just not. I was like, I cannot deal with this movie right now. I just can't do it. And that's probably how Marvin felt.
Yeah.
Like
No,
tired
fair.
on a
Totally
Sunday,
fair.
like, listen, I'm fucking bored. I'm turning this shit off.